Hi, my name is Irooze. I'm the founder of Irooze. Super pleased to be here with Laura Gordon, who is a mediator in Virginia. And we're going to be talking about child support and custody arrangements and different types of arrangements that you have available to you in Virginia. Very important that you get accurate information as to how Virginia works and that you don't rely on basic generic information you're getting out there. We've seen all too many people get information and then come to their mediator and say, oh, I read this and heard this. And then the mediator says, no, that's actually not how Virginia works. So very important that you get accurate, detailed information, which is what Laura is here to help us with. So thank you so much for being here. Really looking forward to hearing this knowledge.
Yes, thank you so much for having me here today. Wow, so yes, child support and then custody and visitation. Let me start off with, first of all, custody has two forms. There's the legal side, and then there's where does the children put their head down at night. And oftentimes people will come into mediation thinking, oh, I want full custody. And they'll say that to me, and I'm like, what does that mean? And they'll start diving into what visitation looks like, where the child resides, how parenting time between mom and dad. I'm like, oh, so that's visitation. So I share with parties really distinctly how custody and the visitation are really two separate matters, and the overlap isn't as much as what parties think, bringing clarity and kind of defining what they are. So custody is really about the decision making. How do we make big decisions for the children? It's education, medical, and religion. And then the physical really is, where do they put their head down at night, or where are they going to school? Is it with one parent, with the other? But parties in mediation can decide whatever they want, whatever feels like it meets the intentions of how they want to parent, how it defines where the children resides. It is up to them, and the mediator helps kind of talk the parties through that and kind of explore options. Visitation now is about all the parenting time. How are we going to do holidays, vacations? How do parents communicate with each other? Do they want to use an app? Uh, Other considerations, like things that will really help parents stay above the sinking ship of not being able to talk with each other, which, sometimes that's inevitable. And then a whole different path there. But moving back to just the synergy of how two parents can keep communications going. The little things that parents think, oh, can I put that in a mediation agreement? Of course you can. So I tell parties, let's customize something that is suitable for your life now, and what meets the needs of, just raising your child or your children in the best way possible for both parents. They can be modified at any time. So sometimes parties come in, they want to create an agreement for the next 18 years, but their child is 3. I tell
Mm.
parties, you make the best decision based off what we have now. You want to modify it later on, you can, but parties actually can, without even going back to modifying their agreement, they can change the situation as they want to by mutual agreement. So I tell parties that as well. Child support now is different. Child support is, the state looks at it as like, okay, what are two incomes combined together? There's a shared income model in Virginia. How combining the two incomes, that's kind of like, okay, now the says, yeah, that's what is needed to help raise this child. And they kind of do a percentage based off how much each party's contributed to the shared income. And there's a big calculation that goes into that. Child support also, we look at what is currently happening now. And in mediation, mediators will run guidelines based off gross income to define what they make in a month. We look at all kinds of income. Sometimes it's, from employment. Sometimes it's from state benefits. It could be anything. And we kind of dive into what does income mean. Then once we run guidelines, parties can deviate. They can add in other things that they want, maybe extracurriculars. They want to, some kind of other shared expense that can actually be added into child support as well. The child support is really defined by overnights with each parent. And I'll digress. An overnight is defined as an overnight plus a rolling 24 hours. That's one full day.
Mm.
So, for example, 5 p.m. on Wednesday to 5 p.m. on Thursday. Now, 5 p.m. on Wednesday to 8 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, that's counted as a half a day. So in child support, we do look at this carefully because if it reaches, it's like 90.5 overnights for one parent, we go into a different model called the shared child support model. So there's the sole and then there's the shared. And child support changes based off that. So we do really need to understand how much time is being shared between the parents to identify child support. And child support can also be modified at any time. Income changes, maybe childcare changes. As I need to mention, the basic parts of child support is income, shared time, and like health insurance or daycare expenses. Those are also inputted into child support.
Absolutely. So one of the most important pieces here is that this is an evolving process.
Yes.
When your kids are especially young, keep in mind that this is the start of, many maybe possible variations. And it's important to understand, like, what do you include in here? What should you not? Have discussions based on your needs, as Laura said, and customize it. And that's the best way when you go to mediation and you have this collaborative joint conversation. You're a mother and father now, you're living two separate worlds, you're in two separate homes, but at the end of the day, you still have the same kids. So you want to start off having these good, open, transparent conversations that will make it easier in your future to make those changes. But if you start off with animosity and fighting and litigation and all of that, you're not going to be able to have that in the future. So very important to be able to come in and say, these are our different situations. These are circumstances. This is what our children need. How do we think of all the details and all the things that are important? And that's what Laura is trying to do, to have a conversation to see what works for all of you. So I really urge you, whether you're contemplating divorce and you're thinking, should I stay? Should I go? Should I get started? I don't know what to do, how to do that. Have a conversation with Laura. You could feel free to DM her below and see if and how she could help you. If you're separated and you started a process and you don't like it, you want to switch over, that's also possible. If you haven't started with any mediators, please feel free to reach out to Laura, interview her, ask her questions, make sure you feel good with her, you like her, you trust her, and then see how it is she can help you and serve you best. So thank you so much, Laura, for being here. Thank you all for watching. Until the next time we speak, I wish you all a day that matters. Take care, everyone.